lotus flower. I knew as soon as I stopped trying to remember the name of the flower, it would come to me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw in just with water some of the shapes. You won't be able to see this really here, but just with water, the shape of the lotus flower. And then I'm going to drop in the tiniest bits of pink. I'll come back and I'll add just a touch more of a little bit of yellow there to that one. So again, just taking the water, getting rid of a bit of it. You don't want it sopping wet, but you want it wet enough that you can get your paper damp, because that's where your color is going to drop into. So the pink is kind of more on this side, the right side. That's a bit too damp, so I can go in, I can dry my brush, I can go in, I can lift that back up, and then it doesn't run to the bottom. Same here. Go in and lift that back up. All you need to do is have the brush drier, and then the paper, and it'll lift like that. Just going to drop in a little bit more here. Ran out a little bit too thin there. This is with a much drier brush than before. It doesn't run quite so much. Again, like I said earlier, I typically only paint with an inch incline, but this is a bit more than what I'm used to. There's one back here, let's say. It isn't quite open yet, so just straight in there with the pink first. This time I'm going to go in afterwards with the water and just draw that out just a tiny bit. And then I just want to show a little bit of yellow there. And this will dry lighter than where we're at. So I'm just going to draw in one of the seed pod heads. Quite intriguing. So that's the overall shape of it. It's got a bit greener. The stem gets darker as it goes down. So see how if I put this in while it's still wet, it kind of grows up there a bit without being as strong. So that's kind of what I want to do there. And I'm going to leave the center open because I want to make that look like it has those little seed head type things there inside of it. Now, some of these, I don't have much for green here. I'm just going to take a little bit of blue. So some of these have a significantly darker spot here. So I'm just going to drop that in. They're kind of in shadow. It's kind of along the bottom in shadow. So just kind of dropping a little bit of that in. And then just on the, just going to try to keep it a little bit to this side. See, so the lighter is over there. I should have waited for it to be a little bit, maybe a little bit drier. And then it would have stayed over there better. But that's okay. So make another one of those, let's see, right here. And again, same sort of shape. Starting with the yellow because that's my lightest color. Then it'll be, there's no white on it. And even things that look white in a picture often are not white. So being aware of that and really truly seeing what kind of colors you're dealing with. So I'm going to just draw this down here. And a little bit more there. And then, again, I'm going to go back in with that darker color along the bottom edges. And then I'll come back in after and put some actual dots in here that will show the kind of the top, the variegated part of the top of the plant. And then just, again, just going to try and keep this to this one side. See how the yellow is a little bit more on that side? I want to do that to highlight it. A little bit more there. Just going in with a little bit drier brush. I love this bristle, the bristles on this brush. They can stay together, but they can also come apart like this. It doesn't want to focus. See if we can get it to focus. Oh, you can see them there. And then when doing that, gives a lot of variation in the how we put the paint down, which looks really cool, especially in more natural items. Just putting that little tiny bit on the top there now. And then I go back in and I'm going to get that bluey green that I had, just to add that tiny little bit of further detail. And this time I'm going to try to stay even farther over to the side. There we go. So here, what I'm seeing here is there's a little bit of, possibly a little bit of moisture here that I didn't know was here, which is fine. I'll go back in and I'll do some negative painting after to clean that up. So I'm just going to keep going on with the flowers and putting in these seed pods and adding a few leaves, and I'll check back in and show you the progress.